Hello, friends. Good to see you. Good morning. I'm going to do squats now. People aren't actually even tuned in yet. Just going to get them done really quick. This is Rocky Outcrop, live expert technical analysis show. Fairly rare thing on YouTube. And yeah, so I'm going to do some squats now. The reason why I do squats, if you just tune into the show for the first time ever, is twofold. One is because, well, it livens me up a bit, gets the blood flowing, and it's good when you're about to do something that's difficult for the old brain to make sure that there's definitely some oxygen getting its way in there. And secondly, because it helps inspire people who are otherwise learning, who are new to trading, because I'm kind of new to doing squats and all that sort of stuff. I first started doing them a couple of months ago and I could hardly do 10, and now I'm doing 20. So it's amazing, and it's kind of same sort of thing happens with people who are tuning in, who trade, who are learning to trade. I'll get around to looking at the charts in just a couple of minutes, like literally less than 2 minutes. It seems that people are talking about BBBY running nicely. Excellent. Good to see you, Jiu Jitsu. Good to see everybody actually, in fact, out there. So very much welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for joining me. If you hit the like button, that's awesome. I'm going to do the squats now, and get them kind of done. First thing, get it over with. Then we'll do the TA. Ah, 20, but the last one was with a rubber band. Okay, cool. Thanks for joining me. Really do appreciate it. Let's have a look over here. Oh, that's YouTube. The wrong thing. It's the wrong thing. It's not Trading View. There's Trading View. Okay. Yes, so not easy to do squats. It's not easy to learn technical analysis. You learn technical analysis. I'll do squats. We're both trying hard. Careful with that rocket. Yeah, I know, right? I know. Gosh, Ben, thank you so much for sending me these. Tell you what, everybody, if if you're relatively unfit and you stay up until 2 a.m. drinking whiskey, and you actually I mean, it was longer than 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever, and somebody sends you some of these in the post and you try them out for the first time, you're in severe danger of completely knackering yourself the next day. Right? Probably know that already, but I kind of forgot it last night. And another thing is, I've not done self care. I've been neglecting myself. I've been neglecting myself an awful lot. I've been severely neglecting myself. After today's show, I think I'll go and book a massage. You know, a few weeks back, one of the viewers of the show got me a voucher for a local massage place, and I think probably most people are kind of probably get to the point in life where they're familiar enough with the idea that there's somebody just being caring about them that way, almost enough for you to feel like you've done the care. I've not done the self care. I need to actually book the thing, you know, and actually go to it and actually experience it, as opposed to just the feeling of having been cared for by somebody. So I need to do that. I need to start doing some self care. Let's go take a look at this BBBBY Bed Bath and Beyond. This is a 2-hour chart. You don't want to be looking at that. Here's the 1-minute chart. So gapped up at the start of the day, pulled back significantly since. Consolidating above the 236 from the deep lows. In terms of from where we just came from, it's obviously above it right now as well, etc., etc. Those are the main things to look to currently with that one. Pardon me again. Now, personally, I find it hard to get massively invested in things that have got big gaps on them. This is clearly, a massive change in conditions of this chart here. You can see, looking back at all the candles on that 1-minute time frame, that it's been quite a while since we've had candles of really any decent size. That's the 1-minute time frame, so that's only a few days worth of price action there, but been quite a wee while. We had big candles today. This is the majority of the move that'll happen today. Already happened. Let's see what else is out there in the world. Frog. Aye, big jump up there as well today. Big pullback. Lovely, isn't it? It's lovely and everything. It's lovely. So are we liable to get up with islands? Here's an island chart with islands on it. BBBY has islands, I think, as well on it during the day. I'll go to something a bit bigger, 5-minute time frame. It's one of these ones. Well, likewise with BBBY. Similar sort of deal. Islands. So yeah, I'm not personally a massive fan of charts that get islands all over them all the time. Just in terms of consistency. But here we are. Nice start to the day for these guys. 20% dips on Sava, 48.7 RN right now. I thought Jimmy's head was going to spin off watching him watch the wheel go round and round. I know, right? Crazy, amazing stuff. I'm not here to spin the wheel. I'm here to break it. Rocky Outcrop, thanks for streaming today. Make a quick update, then rest up, mate, says Kieran. Thanks so much, KP, man. I probably will. You've already done so much this week. I know. I work hard. I work very hard. And I love it, The amount of satisfaction I get from doing this is incredible. And having an indelible impact on people's lives is probably one of the best things. It's just really is one of the best things and that you can do as a human being. So I'm happy, that I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I got the squats done. I feel like I've done all of the hard part today that I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to work as hard today on the show as what I normally do, because I work far. Generally speaking, I work. I don't. It's not. I can't make that sort of judgment about myself. It's not like I work too hard. It's just that I don't do enough self care. So if I'm going to work that hard and not do enough self care, then my ratios are off. So inadvertently I've ended up working too hard. But it's not that I'm working too hard. It's not the genesis isn't that I'm working too hard. I'm working just as much as I want to work. And I'm doing it as hard as I can, and that's how much I want to do it. And too hard is impossible. You just do it as good as you can. If you can do it as good as you can, then that's sufficient. Just you need to do self care as well. Just not been doing enough of it. Good to see you, Matt. Yeah, man, you've got to put yourself for. Anyway, nice. We're up above the 786. Could we push up towards the 886? Is this extended as it stands already? Well, quite clearly. You could quite clearly have a significant pullback from this region. We're still within the range of this overall island structure, and we push up as high as the 786. Now, could we obviously, would it be realistic? realistic isn't even the right word, but is it the right thing right now to be thinking that we could get higher up, and we could, but I wouldn't want to be aiming anywhere really beyond that 886. You can see the 886 comes in around about here, so if the 886 is here, and you're looking at these sorts of highs and whatever else, um, then it matches up a bit more. What's that there? Rocky, not sure if you remember from yesterday my hypothetical Apple to GME transition with, let's say, oh yeah, yeah, yes, that's right. And you did ask for me to take a look at Apple. Well, screw looking at BBBY, Bed Bath and Beyond. Bed Bath and Beyond. It's where you go for your beds and your bath and all their shite like that. Do 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 do. Bed Bath Beyond. I am in my bed and I'm beyond my bath. Right, I'll take a look at other stuff at Apple in just a second here. Just want to take a look at this in the bigger time frames and see realistically, of this stock which has done shite for so long, how close are we for it to not doing shit? How much of this is feeling like you're a smart bull, um, when it's in a bear market. How much of it is being a smart bull in a bear market, and how much of it isn't? This recent island that we've got here took us above the 236. That's at 2160. The current price is at 2407. Generally speaking, it seems like a good enough buy above 2160 in that sense from just here from where we are. This is looking back to over the last sort of decade of price. Is that the all-time high over there as well? I think it is. So yeah, we're doing okay in terms of that, and that'll do on that front. APPL, is APPL or AAPL? APPL, yeah. AAPL, whatever. Bum 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 bum. Oh, looks like I've done TA on this in the not recent past, in the recent past, which is weird because I've got no recollection of looking at Apple on the show. So the memories I have of looking at Apple maybe happened off of the show. Maybe happened on the show, but I'm remembering it happened off the show. I don't know. Do 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 do. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So yes, Marek, what was the question specifically you're asking there, by the way? Say hypothetical blah blah blah. Could you show me what that decision could look like? What that decision could look like? That decision could look like. Right. Well, okay. So you're looking at a chart here. You're in an upward trend. You're able to note that the this extended lines left thing's doing my tits in. You're able to note that the volume throughout this period has really been has been diminishing, but and that's okay, but it's been diminishing. We're able to note that we did come back down, test the 236, and find support at it so far, but we've only made it back as far as the 618, probably. Yeah, come up and tested the 786 and 618. We've made it back there, so it's where people have been taking profit. We can see that because of that, there's this inflection period that's been happening here for the last month in at this particular price point. Earnings and dividends and all the rest of it's happened. So let's see earnings. Well, they're pretty good at guessing the Apple earnings. Let's see here. Yep, pretty good at guessing them, but sometimes wrong. Seems to be okay. Dividends 5th of November, gross 22 cents. This thing's dividend isn't really going to affect the stock price that much. Or would it be in a fraction of a fraction? Obviously, though, when you look at things like this dividend at 22 cents and the share price at 157, you're like, that's not the most amazing dividend, but it's all right. Let's see, 22 pence here. It was 22 as well. As always 22. Yeah, 22, 22, 20, 20, 20. Yo, gross 82. Oof, that was a big one. So obviously you get a few of these a year, so like you're getting like 1% back or whatever. So like the stock price itself is obviously 100x like earnings. If you had it and you kept it for 100 years, you get back your investment. So This is what people mean when things get very extended up the way. How 1618? Where's that at? That'll do. Looking for the 1618. Where have I hidden it? There. Became almost as high as the extension there. Not quite. Right. Anyway, this isn't a bullish trend, and it is until it isn't. So far, it's had a correction down towards 236, which is fine. Come back up here to their 618 and done well, and could obviously continue on the way. That would be the general expectation from people, and there'd be some kind of worrying signs as opposed to you connect this high to this high and then to this high. You can see 1, 2, 3. They match up quite nicely. And then you can see over here that you've got these lows. 1, 2. What's that happening here on the Apples chart? Oh my goodness, what's this? So we're obviously right here in the middle of this thing. Whee! So if we were to see continuation up the way, then you could be looking towards this area being the 1618 of the start of the wedge. So if you were to draw in a Fibonacci between these 2 points just here, then the 1618 would come in here, which would be the top end of that wedge, which is obviously a bearish wedge pattern. And at this stage, well, obviously this is all-time highs and bearish divergence and all-time highs of a stock. You often do see wedges like this. Now, see what happens. See what happens, right? See if this drops down and up like this or whatever, or any sort of combination around this wedge. Then quite often what you end up happening is Wyckoff type distribution at the tops. Well, that's a mess, isn't it? Let me just chuck all that in the bin. So zoom on in here a bit and show you a good example of this type of thing here. So you've got a wedge on Bitcoin. You'll remember Bitcoin. It's a having this probably. You got this wedge here. Now, what happened in the end was obviously we dropped down and came back up and failed at this point here, and that was your kind of your end of the Wyckoff distribution. Now, in the run up to this, we also had yeah, we also had the look of this as being like an ascending triangle at the time. That kind of just pushed outside, looked like it was going for a breakout. One touch, two touch, one touch, one touch, two touches, three touches, three touches. Coming up here, could we bust outside of it? Yeah, an unsatisfactory move outside resulting in just the third push of bearish divergence. Then we dropped back down and failed that pattern and then moved on the way, etc. Right? So, but obviously that's then retrospectively look back at that and think of it as being like a wedge. Apple, apple, apple. So talking about this long in advance, from that type of point of view, if we were to do anything in here, which was to look like, I'd look out for that Wyckoff type distribution at the top here, if we were to have some, because obviously that would result in big drop downs, and you'd be looking for moves down to stuff like over here at the 114, which would be price point $114. Which would be probably, let me just see if this guess works. Yeah, which would be in around about the measured move of this, right? So there's your TA on Apple. I've not done much in terms of looking at oscillators or whatever, but just suffice it to say that I did bring up the RSI earlier on when I was looking at this, and I noted to myself in a brief glance that we'd done these two things. When you see that we've gone into the bearish or the bullish control zone, and that we've managed to successfully defend the bearish one, that you know that the conditions are, of course, bullish in that current mode alongside the charts. We obviously know that that's fairly bullish as well, but we know that there's this mode is going on here that forms a wedge, right? Cool. So how would that look, says Merrick, in terms of if you were to take 10,000 out of this? Well, in terms of like the impact of taking $10,000 out of Apple, it's going to be it's nothing, and that's fine. But obviously that's fine. But if somebody was asking me what it'd be like to take $35 million out of GME right now, then I'd maybe assess the impact of that on the charts. Or indeed, if somebody was asking me what it'd be like to take 650,000 shares and sell them all at one go on AMC, what kind of impact would that have on the charts? That may be two big questions to ask at the minute. or whatever talking points. But this is where it'd be. So if you did end up taking 10 grand out of this thing, then one way that you might want to do it is possibly wait for a move. Now, the difference that you're getting here in terms of this move, if you were to go up for the high, it's going to be an extra sort of 6%, etc. If you were to go for a move towards the downside and look to manage your risk, in around these areas, you could take out if you're thinking about like, okay, I'll sell it if it goes below 137. That'd be fine. All these sorts of things. In the long term, this is obviously very much a very long term bullish stock. It's a very very good stock, and it's a very good one to own. So it's not like you've done a problem or you're suffering by having any. Now, then you're looking at that and you're thinking, well, we could possibly go up a little bit here on that. Now, if this the same sort of story, obviously, in terms of like how we could obviously go up a bit here on GME as well, is still in the case is the 24-hour time frame, by the way, folks. And there's just a couple of little sort of warning signs that we have for us. There's like the 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Where is it? 3 minutes. Where is it? 4 hours. 2 hours? Is it 2 hours? Gosh, really finding it hard to find this. I got my flash on the charts. I do. Oh, do I? No. All of it. Hold on a second. That's better. Indicator's really, really good. Today's the last day that I'll be doing any of that. I've decided self-care kind of does count. If you look over here, by the way, and I go manage access, you can see I've got 95 users have added access. 95. 95. So I've given out plenty of this, and plenty of times people have come after the deadline and asked, and I've still given them access. And if I charge $100 per month for this thing, and if it charge is a funny word, isn't it? But if I thought to people that I was giving them more than $100 worth of value by inventing, creating community wise and everything else with this thing, and then giving it to people and whatever else, and that, then if you thought about it along those lines, in terms of value that I've in that or whatever, that's 9.5 grand a month that I've given out, and people come along like, oh, thanks man, thanks man. It's like, it's totally fine, it's like, it's good. I'm being good over here, I'm doing all this sort of stuff, but I'm not like, I don't feel any sense, even if one or two people out there miss out on this thing at this stage, I can't possibly feel any sense of like, ah, I mean, I do actually. That's the truth. I'm just telling this as cognitive dissonance to try and train myself to not feel like that. But I can look at this and academically, I can see that when I've helped 95 people, five of which, probably, or 5 to 10 of which have and do pay for it in a sense, then in a way, and the rest not so much. Then I'm not exactly bothered, am I? But I am. That's the thing. I just have to train myself not to be. Just wanted to check here real quickly if there was anything on the lower term timeframes to be aware of on Apple. I just wanted to look just a couple of quick glances here, just to see, because yeah, of course, 149 here at this point. So if you were trading this thing, there'd be plenty of opportunities to get better discounts. So I kind of just wanted to point that out here on the, and I'm sure everybody's fine. Saul Goodman, Rocket Crop, you're doing good work. Thanks so much, man. So where was that flash at? Where was it? Where was it? There's only something that I wanted to point out to people that pointed out plenty of times anyway, but it's to do with the idea of us coming potentially back down as low as 171. And I feel like it's absolutely possible, and it doesn't matter how hard that is to cogitate and reconcile. It doesn't matter at all, because it just doesn't. Where is it? Oh, frustrating. Right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You guys know it's out there. I can't. I'm not going to find it. Right. I'm not going to go finding it. See these. Such a hypocrite. I'm such a liar. Say things and then I go ahead and do it anyway. Like that stupid indicator thing. Right here, 171.50. Yeah. This could easily happen. This could very easily happen. This one here, which required interaction, has had interaction once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times as a result since. Just little things like, even if it doesn't make it the whole way down, that at times it's just worth bearing in mind. how, for example, over here on Harmony One, when the flash came in at 22 and the prices went all the way up as high as 37, and good, friend of mine, for example, Eric Crown, was saying it's probably going to go on to 55. It's like, well, hey, but the truth of it is it's actually going to 22. And this is, and there's very good reasons for this. Now, will it doesn't need to necessarily get as low as 22? Well, one of the things that I've been talking about recently, I suppose, is that once one of these kind of interruption flashes come in, you might just want to try and look, instead of for the 100%, you're looking for closer to the 90% of the pullback towards it. So if the pullback needed to go back down 40%, and that's minus 15,115, then maybe it goes down, minus 15 or minus 14.8 or minus 14.9 or whatever. Or maybe it goes down whatever. And maybe it goes down just as low as this over here, which is down as far as, and how much of a drop is that? That's down as far as, that's a 37.27 drop. We could have been aiming for 40, and that's 37, so it's within 90% of the move. So it could have happened by now. So that's just that's what I'm saying, is that these things happen, right? Um, so what it could look like, Eric, could be looking like, suppose worst case scenario would be that you sold your Apple and then it just rocketed to the moon for some unknown reason. And meanwhile, GME also rockets to the moon, and you try and hold out for a better value entry at 171, and it never happens, and you're left with 10 grand in the bank. That's one of the worst case scenarios. Here's another worst case scenario for you. You don't do anything with Apple, and it drops down to $114, at which point you decide to sell it. Then you buy GME with that money above $200, and then it drops down to 171, at which point you've lost more than $2,000 of that $10,000 worth of value by just not doing anything. By doing those things. That'd be the worst case scenario, I suppose. Best case scenario is that Apple moves up towards, whatever it was that we said that it would move up towards, where that 1618 was, had a number, and then you kind of cashed out. A month goes by, 2 months go by. People look back at Apple and say there was Wyckoff distribution. You tell all your friends how you managed to perfectly call the top. They're all like, "How did that happen?" You're like, "Too complicated to explain." Then they say, "What did you do with the money?" You say, "Well, I just chilled out for a while and I bought GME at a 25% discount, or 10%, a 15%, 12, 15% discount. So I got the equivalent of, $11,000 or $12,000 worth of shares with my $10,000, etc. It's actually 5% up from that, so 10,500. And then it goes to 171 or 173, 75, and you buy in at that point, and then it finds a bounce there, because that would represent a higher low on this bigger time frame. If I jump up to 24-hour time frame, hide all the drawings, then that would be the prices coming back down to around about here, to be a very, very deep but higher low. And what can we see in terms of how this thing operates? Well, operated like that in the past, it'd be of no surprise. And then a couple of months later, it's at $250, and you've what, doubled your money by this point? I don't really know. I can't be bothered doing the maths. So that's that. So hi Rocky, no ask from me, just sending you a crisp high five as a thank you. Wow, Reese, thanks so much. Reese, are you Welsh, by the way? With that name, Reese Williams. It's such a Welsh name. And if you aren't Welsh, do you have like Welsh parents or something like that? Anyway, cool, nice one. There's Jamie was talking on Tadpole Games. I think it was Tadpole Games, or also it's Trade Slosh. I think it was Tadpole Games last week, saying about the feeling, a feeling for a place you miss where you haven't been, and it was good. It's a Welsh word called hearth, he, uh, hmm, heareth, or something like that. I can't remember the word for it right now. And it's a good one, because a week before that or so, I'd been watching Veritasium. I think it was Veritasium, talking on YouTube, saying he was, or was it him? Somebody, a really big YouTuber, saying, um, that he wishes that there was a word and he doesn't think that there is one for describing missing a place where you have never been, or whatever. And that's cool, isn't it? That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. It's cool. It's all Welsh. So if you speak Welsh and everything else, that's cool. I when the Jamie and I were watching the video together, and he says, and the guy says, there's that he wishes there was that word, and I says, I bet you there is that word in Japanese. There's definitely exists in one language out there. I'm 100% sure of it. So then, without trying anything at all, it presented itself within a week to me the answer to that question. Amazing. Sometimes you just need to be aware of something, and the answer will come to you. It's crazy. Sally Mander also put in a donation, $25. Thanks so much. Question from Discord member yesterday. Can you explain what better? Can you explain what's? Sorry, Merrick. Was that an answer for you? I don't know, man. I really don't know how to answer your question in terms of like what would be a good answer. I think that's like one of the best answers you could get if you went anywhere in the world and you paid somebody a lot of money to give you the answer. Right, that'd be my opinion about it. But I'm actually genuinely asking what your opinion is because I could have told you the answer in a million different ways. And if there was a better way to do that for you personally, then you can let me know and I'll try. I'll just try that. Try that. So it's all good. Question from Discord member yesterday. Can you explain what's better when dealing with a volatile stock going through halts? Stop loss versus trailing stop. I think more than a few folk would appreciate this. Thanks, Rocky. Ultimately, when it boils down to a stop loss and a stop loss, when people say stop loss, they generally refer to stop market. Stop market is the a market order at that price. It's very unusual for people to be using a stop limit order to get out of a trade that's going against them, because obviously how that would work would be, for instance, over here, maybe you were long on GME at $228. You decided that you put in a stop limit order, which would trigger if the prices dropped to 166 at 250. It's weird. It doesn't happen very often. Of course, you can imagine a scenario. I'm sure you can yourself, where you would think like that. Apple. You could be maybe up here at $157. Think to yourself, well, if the prices actually go down below the 236 over here, which they did at 138, then I'll trigger a stop limit order. I'll get out at the 1618 of that potential move. And that would be a perfect example of a really fantastically executed, fantastic, amazingly sophisticated trade on a stop limit order. Now, the chances of anybody actually asking a question about that are less than 1% because, well, it's less than 0.001%. I mean, I would bet my life on the fact that nobody asked that question, right? But there's that answer to that element of that question. Now to then go on to that other part of it, what would be better, a trailing stop or a stop loss? Now, looking at this chart over here with Apple's a 24-hour time frame, but you can go down to the 15-minute time frame, and you can see that there are examples. Thank you so much, Merrick. I'll get around to reading that in a minute. But I'm pretty sure, literally, same opinion about yours. Oh, that's fantastic. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. So you can see here that there are gaps and stuff on the charts, right? So maybe this is one of the things that would makes people think, well, what would be better? Because you're saying stops and halts and stuff like that. So on a market where there's halts and stops, it could be that you are this is answering the question from probably not the perspective of the person who's asking it, but actually from the most useful knowledge for everybody who's listening along. Okay, so this is the second answer. And I'll get around to giving the actual answer to the actual question that was actually asked in just a second. But the first answer was about the stop limit. Second answer is when markets are moving against you and there's stops and halts and stuff like that. There's halts in the market and it's moving against you. You already went long on Apple and it came all the way up to 152. And let's just imagine that this isn't actually during the I can't be bothered going to find out a chart where there's stops, halts on the market while it's crashing right now. I can't be bothered. Could probably bring up the GME chart again and look back to when it was happening a couple of months ago or whatever. But whatever. You're losing a stop or a stop or a trailing stop. If the markets are moving against you and going down the way, then they're liable to hit off of your they're liable to potentially skip over where your stop loss is, but they're both stop market orders and the effect will be the same on both of them. Now there's potential and you should probably look into the the detail on your broker, or just kind of get on the phone to them or open up their chat box and ask them if you're concerned about this sort of thing, which is, and it's good knowledge to have, whether or not they execute market orders, stop orders when the prices have gone past them. So some brokers out there in the world will think, well, you've got your stop market at $100, the prices are 110, they drop down to their prices are 130, they drop down, there's a halt on the market. When the trading opens back up again, the prices are at $90 and they've skipped past your stop. Some brokers will just go ahead and execute your order there for you at the best available price, because that's triggered and it's the best available price. Other ones out there will maybe operate along the lines of, well, the prices weren't actually at your stop market, so it's kind of invalidated it. Most of them will just execute the order for you. Now, in that scenario, a trailing stop and a stop loss and a stop market, where both of them have been skipped over because of that process of halting, etc., are going to be just as effective as each other. It won't make any difference. Now, in terms of the question that was actually asked, if the markets are moving and presumably this person's like seeing the prices flying towards the top side and they're getting halts on them, etc., and you're thinking, what's better, a stop loss or a trailing stop, or a stop, just a regular one that you're doing manually, then it's going to so much come down to your, well, this I suppose is like the other answer they didn't really ask in a way. Didn't really ask the other answer. Anyway, it'll come down to how you interact with the markets, right? So are you going to really benefit from a trailing stop, or are you not? Are you really going to benefit from it or not? Like, are you likely to just like get up and leave and walk away and you're not interested? Are you trading this on the short term time frames? Are you a swing trader watching a market run towards the top side and you're already well in profit and you don't really care? You're just looking to try and take whatever off the table. The trailing stop can make it really easy for you to do that. Stop markets, just regular stop losses that you put in, will, you'd have to manually change that as it went along. So for a lot of people, based on how they use the markets and what they're doing, a trailing stop will be better, or a stop market might be something that just a stop loss, just a regular stop loss, would be what they'd be able to, would be appropriate for them. The reasoning behind it being that on your trailing stop, you're going to have to choose how far away from the prices you want to have a tolerance of. Whereas when you're manually entering your stop, you can absolutely do it, as strict as you want to do. Here's a chart here. Apple. Let's just look at GME. Wait. Let's look at something else. Something else. Roblox. People like Roblox. How's it doing today? Been doing well today. So you might be looking at this thing, and you might have done something along these lines, like drawn in a Fibonacci, like this. And you might be aware that the prices could travel, like say, right, actually, let's at this previous high, right, that's in the previous high, it's up to here. You're aware that the prices could easily travel down to the 236 before moving up again. So if you had a stop loss in here, which was, both of these instances, you would have seen it being stopped out, right? If you'd put it at the 236 in that distance away, you'd have seen it being stopped out because it dropped down below it, but it didn't close below it. So if you're of a mindset where you're thinking, oh, this could happen, you might want to just manually be doing your work, thinking, well, it's going to come down here and test this, but then it's going to bounce away again. However, if it breaks it again after that, then I'll want to stop out. But like that along those lines. Whereas here we are, yada yada. Now, if you're using a trailing stop, you'd have had to have chosen like the size. On this one here, 113, what's that, 113.79 up as high as 120.78. So that's depending on what points you're using there. That's maybe 700-point move or a 70-point move, depending on, or whatever. So say it's a 700-point move that you've got there, and you've got a trailing stop 700 away, 700 cents away from where you put in your where 700 cents consistently. Then you would have got stopped out there, just thinking like that. But then the 236, of course, if you were looking on these lines, is obviously going to be a different amount of them. Like down here, the distance between it is 101 down as low as 99. So it's like $2. Whereas up here it's more. So are you then going to be constantly updating your trailing stop? What type of way are you doing it? Another way of thinking about things is that, you're looking at this and it got this high in here. Um, and you might have thought to yourself, right, great, this is like a Williams fractal. I've got a nice move up, another candle, this one here, this one here, this one here. Brilliant. There's a Williams fractal just there. Look, I don't want to be in this if we actually take that thing out. And it's not Williams fractal that I'm making the point about here. That's besides the point. I'm just saying, for whatever reason, you're looking at this and you're saying, yeah, that's cool. Like I've just experienced this massive parabolic run from here up, 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 bit of inflection, up, 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 up. This is the first time where we've seen it be like a Williams fractal, like we've got some sort of top in here. Whereas before, when we had this one, it was up, up, up again, up again. It wasn't one. And you might just think to yourself, well, then I'll just stick my stop loss in here manually, just manually. Just stick it in here manually. Or you might use a trailing stop and just measure what that happens to be at the time and be happy enough to have that from wherever. Now, if you put that in at this point, what's the answer there? The answer is you need to decide what it is that you're doing. If you know what you're doing, then you'll have the appropriate answer laid out. If you don't know what you're doing, then just go with a trailing stop because face it, admit it to yourself. You don't know what you're doing. So put in a trailing stop, right? Easy, isn't it, to accept sometimes that if you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to do the thing that doesn't need to be known what you're doing. Isn't that amazing? It's kind of weird, that, isn't it? A lot of people don't want to accept that in their lives, that when they don't know what they're doing, they really probably shouldn't do the more sophisticated thing. Now, what's better? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what's better in that sense? Because, um, because it's not irrelevant. It's massively relevant to your context. There isn't an objective better in this sense. Fundamentally, both of them will execute as market orders. Now, there's another thing you need to know, and that is if you're trading through a platform like MetaTrader. What does MetaTrader look like? Can I be bothered showing you? No, because it's probably got personal details in there, so I probably can't be bothered showing you. So not. But if you were trading through a platform like MetaTrader, trailing stops are only updated while your MetaTrader application is open and your computer's not asleep. It's done locally. So the question to you is, do you know if the broker that you're using or the platform that you're using or whatever updates its trailing stops for you on their end, or does it happen on the client end, on your end, through the platform that you're using to trade? Are you how close to the platform is this going to be? So if you're operating with it, if you're using a trailing stop and you're using MetaTrader and you are trading forex and you're sat at your desk and you think to yourself, I know what I'll do. I'll leave a trailing stop on this thing and I'll go and have some lunch. And you go away and you have lunch and you come back an hour later and you sit down at your computer and you wake it up because it's fallen asleep. What you're going to discover is that the prices could have easily have gone far past where your trailing stop would have been. Nothing happened, and you think, why was that? Why was that? And you'll end up getting in touch with like support or something like that and complaining, and then they'll tell you that it was your fault in the end anyway. Oh no, right? So it depends. It depends on so many things. But to say that one is better than another would be an inaccurate answer to that question. And thank you so much for that donation, Sal, and that's really kind of you. Dobermamba has just put in put in his little flair thing. Let's see if there's other people that have got a chance to do that maybe you know haven't used it yet. Let me just see. Pam the Trader, love Pam the Trader. Kala Kala, Heather, that is. Oh shit, shouldn't dox people. Bav Dav, Paul B, Odd Time Wizard, Master Bilbo, Julian A. You guys have all got free flares things as well, I think, as Dilber. Remember, Dilber says, TY Rocky, best 6 months ever. Looking forward to the future. Thank you, Dilber, for everything, mate. Just for being around, really, in that. We also got one, Anti-Fanatic. I'm still in the beginning. I'm still in the beginning. I'm still at the beginning. My portfolio is tiny, but but people try not to think in absolute values anyway when it comes to your portfolios and stuff like that. When you are thinking about them, try to think in terms of percentages, etc. You might have a tiny portfolio, but if what you've managed to do over the last month was increase your portfolio by 10%, then well done. That's good. That's good, right? So if you've gone from $100 to $110 and it took a month to do it, obviously on a sort of per hour basis, what you're paying yourself is next literally probably nothing. Well, certainly it is literally nothing because of that. But what you're but you know you're doing really 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 well. So try to think in terms of that. Anyway, but I don't forget how and when everything started to change for the better. I want to make more to be able to give more. Anti-fanatic. That's so great. That's so great. Thank you so much for that, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the fiver, Dan. That's really appreciated as well. It's massively appreciated. Thank you so much, man. Worth man, you deserve way more. But could you look at BGFV when you get a chance? I appreciate it, brother. That was Rocky Aircraft. That was great. Thanks. You just squashed a bunch of bad advice out there on the interwebs. Oh, cool. Nice one. Nice one. Thanks. Um. Now, always a disclaimer about myself. I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. Uh, Look for multiple sources of information as well. You know, Jamie and I disagree about things and see things differently as well. Remember that ultimately it isn't about my opinion. It's about my opinion about things. It's going to be more about your own opinion about things. It's not about your. It's not even about your own opinion. It's more about your ability to develop opinions. It's about your ability to audit those opinions and assess whether or not they're accurate, and to be able to track things across time. And hopefully, I can inspire you to improve on that front. But really, remember, at the end of the day, what I'm doing here is primarily to inspire you to learn to trust in yourself and to hopefully pass that inspiration on to others in a way that creates resonance and grows everybody. Remember, okay. Oh, Sal, thanks so much. That's really kind of you as well. That's putting in that link there. That's really awesome. Thank you, Sal. That's cool. That's awesome. Great. Merrick Sanders, looking at the charts currently, probably will look for a bullish divergence later. Let me. Can I just get up? Can I get my thing here and see this? Is this the video here? Now, if I go back, I might be able to put on that as a pinned comment because that was pretty cool, Sal, that you did that. Thank you. Thanks very much, sir. Amber, could you take a quick peek at? Could you take a quick peek at link today, or could you take a quick pink at link at the link? Yep. I'll look at BGFG, the big giant friendly version. BGFV. Oh gosh, right. Are we curious as to? Well, it doesn't look like there would be anything. Are we curious though as to whether or not there was some flashes on this thing that would have brought it down lower? I am. Uh, It doesn't look like there would have been enough like consolidation or anything over here for that to be the case, but you never know. Like it's worth checking. Um, to see if there was one. To see if there was one. No, not really. Here's another example of there was something I saw an example of one of these recently, and I just thought, there's the thing. Occasion the people using this ever. Sorry, forget one. I don't care. I don't care. The point I was trying to make there, I'm not motivated to make it anymore. There we have it. Thanks, Rocky. Thanks. This is right. This is worth noting that this is down here at 24.41. Again, I'm not going to start. We're always going to be auditing this along the way and seeing if these things actually work out for us. But that's where that is. If we're looking up to the highs and we're asking how far will this take us down and whatever and where are we and all this sort of stuff, well, we're in no man's land. This is linear chart for some reason. Don't know why I've been doing things. Fuck. Anyway, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. But at this point here, I'm compelled. Oh, so annoying having integrity, by the way. Sorry. Put your thingy. I have no. Oh, I've got nothing in my description. Oh, that's annoying. Just a second. My description's empty, I've been told. I'll just go get my. I'll go get my link in my description and stuff like that. I'm also just checking back over a couple of things I've done so far today because I don't want to got things wrong. That's all good. We're all good here. This is the same deal as well, by the way, but it's worth showing in terms of being all good. Big time frame, but I can tell that that's where the last one was of those. 236, 132 wouldn't be long on it above 132. I'd rather buy it at 125 if that was the case. Put those stuff in the description in a second. Thanks very much to everybody. Trace one, yeah, usually has a full list description. Must have forgot this morning. Yeah, I messed up. It's well, the way it works is well, it doesn't matter. Well, maybe it does. I don't know. I use Stream Elements to just set up a stream, and I figured that I would use my standard upload defaults to populate that. It didn't. Brum, bum, brum, bum. Thank you very much for informing me of that. Okay, so and it should be there now. If you, I mean, obviously you probably would need to refresh the page if you want to see any of that stuff in there. And thank you so much to everybody for your patience just there now. Thinking about Evergrande, says Kieran. I think about Evergrande all the time. I think you missed a Streamlabs chat. I think you think I did. Okay, cool, man. Right. Don't want to go anywhere. So right now what I'm doing is BGFV, and then I'm going to take a look at Link in a second. And just going back the way, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Merrick. Thank you, Antifanatic. Thank you, Sal. Thank you, Reese. Anonymous, 420. Any thoughts on Try USD? You're right, Vic. I did. Thanks about that. So Try should be where I'm doing. I'll just do Try first, in fact, because I've hardly started doing anything here. In fact, I've not even got the chart up. It's the wrong chart, BBY. That was the wrong chart. If you were trading BBY, then there you go. There's some interesting information. Nice run up the way. Got a bit of a consolidation at 236. Easy to buy in on that one. I'd happily do that and manage my risk. I wouldn't want to. If it did drop down below 132, be looking for 130 or 125. Don't even know what BBY is, but that's where it would be. That would be my first initial impression. I'd be happy enough to take a trade off the back of that. Here's this thing, and it's got a bit of a bull flag on the go. Is that a very nice bull flag? Not really, but it's there. It's obviously got some funny dynamics with it. The way that this is, it likes to gap up and collapse, gap up, collapse, gap up, collapse. The last few days, that's an interesting little dynamic that's on the go, in those periods of time. So that's what's happened with that one. Nice little bull flag though. Nice, lovely little bull flag dancing around inside that 236 area or just below it. It's a bit, bit of pain here and there. Push below, back up above. Actually, no, it's all below the 236 from that high. Not very good. Big wick on that side. I'm not going to apply strict rules to this in the sense that in the sense that this is happening at a period where we are in. Is this all time highs on this one? Is this one of the? This is TRY. Am I doing something wrong? TRY. Try USD. Was it? Wait a minute. What was the question? Sorry, I am doing something wrong potentially here. Try USDT. So it's not even that. That's some property management thing. Nobody's interested in that. God. Turkish lira versus US dollar. Excuse me. Wow. What is that? What is that? What is that? Holy smokes. Chin Chin Anonymous, my second ever, 2 years, second ever Forex request. Wow. Wow. Maybe there's been one or two others, but in terms of chat, but wow, that's wow, second ever, wow. Okay, cool, awesome, freaking nice one, super nice one, super nice one. I'm looking at forex. I'm dead pleased. Quality. Right, Turkish lira. Look, a couple of things about Turkey. If I were to express my opinions about Turkey, I would be in trouble. So I'll not. Okay. But you can see here that my opinion isn't unique. But my opinions extend beyond the chart here. I yeah. If you were to be looking for a turnaround on this thing, this is crazy, but here you have it. You can see there's this massive flash. And where is this massive flash coming in at? Where the 236 lines up at nowadays. OMG. OMG. This is not the oldest history in the world, though. That only goes back as 2013. Where let me just look up. Is it only on IDC? I mean, come on. All sources? Yeah. Is it only that? Let me just go back. Let's just hold on a second. USD TRY. That's better. Right. So this is an interesting one. Anonymous. I don't know who you are. Don't know much about you, but I know that you. But you can tell a lot by the way that you framed the way that you framed your thing. Instead of looking for USD TRY, you're looking for TRY USD. Interesting. Which means as well. I hope I've not been offensive with me explaining that. With me suggesting I have an opinion about Turkey. It's a political one, not a personal one. The nice. Sorry, wait, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, this is the opposite end of that. So how far back do we go here? Just 2010, 2009. No big flash here on the daily time frame at the 236 to look at on this particular exchange, but it's an interesting one that there is over there on the other, from the all-time low to the all-time high. I mean, this is obviously not your first port of call when it comes to looking at uh, um, forex is to go from the all-time lows to the all-time highs. It's not your first port of call, right? Because it wouldn't be the way that you'd be trading it. But but I just wanted to, because I saw that flash on there on the other chart, and I thought, well, we're going to have to look and see. And shit, yeah, it lined up nearly perfectly with the 236, which is like nice. This is a logarithmic chart, by the way, as well, over a long period of time. And I think that's significant. This is the USD TRY setup. Obviously, that what this means is that the higher up that this chart goes, the more US dollar is worth in Turkish lira. So the more Turkish liras you have to spend to buy a US dollar, and currently you have to spend 10 Turkish liras to buy a US dollar. Looking back, like just remember, July 2020, you had to spend 6.8. In August 2017, you had to spend 3.4. I mean, this sucks. Turkey's economy sucks. It deserves to suck. It should suck. It's a good thing that it sucks. Sorry for the people who are on the hard end of that there, but for everybody else, do something about it, eh? And the sorry, right. So yeah. Anyways, back to the other chart though. Do 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 do. Oh, by the way, if you're on something like Binance or whatever, right? You'll notice that you can actually do forex trading. So there's the potential this has come from somebody who's interested in that. Why? Because Turkish lira managed to get themselves onto the Turkish lira, Turkish economy people managed to get themselves hooked up with Binance so quick, and that it's great, isn't it? Gave them a method to short their own currency without anybody knowing that they were doing it through crypto. How amazing is that? Good idea, Turkey. I would have done the same if I was in charge of Turkey. Well, actually, I say that, but there's plenty of things I would do differently if I was in charge of Turkey. Right. So, this kind of general theme, not great. Not necessary. This, have we got bullish divergence between these two lows? No, we don't. We don't have it. right? That's 24-hour time frame. Is there anything good on any positive on any small time frames? Like little things worth mentioning. I would anticipate a bounce here. In fact, the DMI, the ADX on the DMI here, giving us a good showing for that. Now, let's just be aware. Let's just be aware of the previous times when we've had big extremes on the on this thing. Here was one, and we saw a tiny little rise in price, and then obviously it dumped on down again. Here was another big extreme, and we got a nice rise in price, and then it dropped on down again, yada yada yada. So if we did get a turnaround here, am I aiming beyond this flash? No, I'm not. Am I aiming to that flash? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Let's just also kind of review real quick as well in terms of this thing. Is there, people out there will ask, is there a single reason why the Turkish economy should perform better? And the straight up simple answer for you is, frankly, no, there isn't. And so that's where you are with this one. If I was like a long term, I mean, if I owned any Turkish lira, would I want to continue owning it over the long term? Well, no, I wouldn't. However, we could obviously get a bounce here. If we saw continuation past this, then maybe we do turn around. Maybe we see something decent coming along, and that. But I don't know. I mean, how much faith do you have in Erdogan? Not me, not much. I'd be aiming towards that and kind of no further. Just let me see here. You're right. No, I've fixed that one. I've fixed that there. That's okay. I fixed that already. So right. So yes. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Evan. That's quality, man. That you see it looking great. That's really good. I hope you're well. I hope you're well too, man. Kind reminder that it's past 3:30 p.m. BST. Thank you, Banana Phrase. Really appreciate it. The flash seems unreasonable, and that's how I like my knife catching. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Right. Great. Yeah. Absolutely. I'd be aiming up here towards towards that area. I do think it's possible. This DMI shows us, like the ADX there, it shows us that it could be possible. Very big, very, very, very big extreme. That that we don't have like bullish divergence, but what we do have obviously is the lowest it's ever been on the RSI. This is a conversation which will ring a lot of bells with people that I had in the Discord yesterday or the day before yesterday, or whenever my memory worked properly, one of those times. And I talking about the extremes and about how, like, rather than necessarily, oh, well, of course, we're looking for continuation and all the rest of it and that. Could we be wrong? Is there anything that could tell us that we're wrong? Well, it's never been as low as this without getting a bounce of some sort. Etc. So great. Is there an opportunity here on the Turkish lira to get that bounce? Yes, there is, because of those things. Let's look down at a smaller time frame. By the way, for people who don't know, that thing down the bottom, that's volume. That's kind of like, that's the volume. That's volume. This is forex. Now, you won't see volume like this everywhere, but when you've got a stock which is like consistently, like every single person who has not a stock but a forex pair, where every single person who has any of it wants to get rid of all of what they've got, all of it completely, absolutely all of it, all the time, always, always. As soon as they've got it, they never want to hold on to it. Then maybe you'll see something like this. If you're looking elsewhere, and also as well, that's the layout of that thing. You'll see different variation, and let's just be fair as well. I was actually just taking the piss there when I said that, because here you can see that there's much variation in volume elsewhere. So again, I would look towards the correct pairing, so to speak, or at least the one that everybody's trading on, specifically more so than looking at the USD TRY one. This extremely extreme move towards the top side is again then represented in the sort of equal opposite side of things as being the most as highest it's ever been on the RSI ever by some distance. I mean, this is one of these ones where it's like record breaking style stuff for sure, up there at 93. Very rarely do you see things in traditional world, especially in forex, operate above, above 80 or 85. Here again, the ADX, like the chances of it turning around. Now, the last time here we saw this happen, there was a bit of a pullback and a bit of a pullback here. Not much, and this is what we talked about on the other chart. We are seeing like a couple of percent. Forex, this is forex. Remember, a couple of percent is significant. 4% there, significant. This here, I honestly, Vic or whoever, if you want to trade this and catch a knife on it, fantastic. Totally could do it, but you've got like you're wanting to wait for what this thing. You're not going to get halts on it really, and you're going to get you're not going to run out of time to trade it, etc. It doesn't operate on normal market hours. Of course, it's forex, it's different. So there's opportunities there for patience to try and buy in onto any sort of downward movement that there is. Yeah, right. I mean, how can I possibly be? I can't. I'm fundamentally find it very difficult to be positive on the Turkish lira, but uh, fundamentals. But I mean, they're the best. They're some of the best fundamentals out there, as you can see. But yeah, there could be a pullback. Shit, man. Like I would aim for that. If I was aiming for anything, I'd aim for that one on that particular pair where that flashes. Otherwise, this is crap. Turkey is crap. Anyway, right, great. So, true. I made some money by USD performance SEC this year. SEC. That's Vic Vince is one of our European friends, by the way. For people who don't know, TRY USD. Right, cool. So there was that one, and then there was other requests that came in. Right, that was a bit of fun. Thanks so much for that. Just looking back the way Europe, BGFV. Did I do BGFV? I think I might have done. I'm not sure. BGFV. No, I didn't. Did I? Oh, yeah, we talked about this. Oh, 2441. This sucks right now, but we've come back down here to where we could potentially find support at, right? I mean, we did it before, so maybe we'll do it this time around. True. Good point. Well made. Good on you. Why is this? Why is this here? Here? Why is this here? Line up with that? Is it? Fair enough. Fair enough. It's a much of a muchness in terms of this thing. There isn't any way to get this to line up and say, or is there? Here, nah, right, yeah, it's the idea. Looking back the way here, the idea that would be that we're looking for the 618 just here would stem off the back of this sort of triple bottom that came in over there, and you still be aiming down to like 27. The prices are currently 29, and that's obviously just nearly a 10% drop in price. So like this is not good if it doesn't find support right here. The only thing that it's got to find support off of the back of here is, of course, this previous low that came in at this point. The high that came in here, so overtly bearishly divergent. This low is, well, whatever it is. Yeah, so I mean, maybe we get a bounce and then continue down the way. This has been very bearish since the 12th of November. Right. Broader term picture. That flash is still showing up on the 24-hour time frame, by the way. That was just me moved from the 1 hour to the 24. Broader term picture, this has been doing fairly well for a while. That'll be March, and this is recently, and we came up here. It's bearishly divergent as well between those highs. There's been a significant pullback so far at 39%. What is this thing? Big Five Sporting Goods Corporation. Yeah, look, if I wanted to go long on this, I wouldn't be rushing into going long on it in terms of like longer term trending moves. I feel like things that could maybe tie in then with what we're looking at. What could maybe tie in with it? We just kind of like look at these lows in here. It's not very great, is it? But I'd be worried about this market. If it got any follow through past this point, I'd be worried about it. Worried about it. Oh yeah. So let me go to the weekly time frame on this one. Yeah, so to point out just a simple thing here, I've talked about volume quite a lot. Starting volume, stopping volume. That'll do on that one. Right. So the next one was Amber Link. Would love to Linky Schminky went all the way down to $28, or maybe 27.90 or something like that. Let's just have a quick look and see here what it was that it happened. It was there at that was the weekly time frame. Whoops. Go 1 hour. No, 4 hour. Uh-oh. Yeah, we came all the way down to $28 on this one. Big. I mean, it was up at what, 38 just the other day, just on the 10th of November. Here we are here on the 16th of November. What a difference a week makes. Unbelievable. Profit taking targets coming in for a lot of people at 38 and all the rest of it. Pushing it all the way down 26% in the space of a week. Crikey O'Reilly, son. But what do we notice right here is that their next target is going to be 32.04. Looking at this one is, of course, where the flash is, and of course, where the 618 golden pocket is. So that is where I would be looking for this. How are we doing so far? We're below the 236 at 29.43. Trading with momentum on this one means that you're going to have to like hold out for it to get a back, to move up 50 cents from where it is now. If it moves up 50 cents from where it is now, great, groovy, and kicking on the way, that would be nice. But if it fails and continues down the way, then where could we be going? I suppose would be the next thing to look to. This low coming in here a bit lower than those other ones along the way towards the top side, positioning us negatively below the 236 just here, and I would have to look on down towards one of these other targets, perhaps 25. Yeah, I'd be looking towards 25. So failing 28 takes us to 25, right? Failing 28 takes us to 25. Whoop, 28. Do not want to go below 28 anymore. That's that. We've done it. We've done it. We've done good. Actually, we don't like being below 29, but we're here at the minute, and it's okay to be here because we're just trying to push up above this at the minute. We found a couple of lows already in here at 28. Now, I was talking as well with people the other night about the chances of you getting like a bullish recovery on this one. Really big wick here has from the this has been when all the liquidations were occurring on it. Liquidations happen all the time in crypto, happen all the time in the regular world as well. It's just that it's a big deal and talked about and acknowledged in the in crypto land, whereas in the regular world it's ignored and treated as if it's a thing that doesn't happen for some reason. Weirdly, I don't know. Pride maybe. Shame, I think, is the thing. So yeah, so this is the so anyway, over here 236, we pushed down, we pushed back up with this wick, and that wick took us above the bigger, broader term 236, which is that blue line just there. Then we sank down below it again, and that's not good. But in terms of like this movement that we've had so far from the diving board dude area, which would be here, so far, this is the region that we're looking to. So there's your diving board, and this is what we'd be looking up to with a keen eye on $33. $33, a keen eye on $33. I've said it 3 or 4 times because you'd want to have a keen eye on $33. I've just said it again because that's where you'd be looking to take profit at if we did actually move up the way again thereafter. With the respect that we'd probably then be able to get in, buy in and out again afterwards, perhaps even at $31 and stuff like that, and experience a nice couple of buck move. And that would be completely conceivable. Now, where we are in relation to where we, this 236 here, in a sense, you could imagine it being lining up with that one, couldn't you? You could imagine it lining up with that one, couldn't you? You could imagine it lining up with that one. You could. I could. Let me just see here. It's a bit higher though when we go from the $38 down to where we were just now. But you can imagine that this zone here is obviously very important, and this so far is consolidating below the important areas that we want to be at. So if you want to manage your risk by just like saying like I don't want to experience anything more than a 10% drop down on this one, then that's totally fine. And you'd be looking for a move up towards $32, of course, which is a nice move up the way, sort of risk to reward trade, kind of leaving you with well, with obviously not, it's not a massive trending move. So you're not looking to at this point here, I would say that you're not really necessarily looking to take this beyond that inflection area right away, unless of course when this happens it gets past the 113. So I'm looking back down here, I'm looking at this, and I want to just bring on the 113, whereas it's probably not written on there. 1.4. Yeah, I'll just take a round number again. I usually take round numbers when I change these. 1.13. This green line here, I'm just making it green. No, that's the wrong one. This one, making it green. So yeah, if we get past that at 32.62, then and that, then yeah, definitely aiming towards 33. This doesn't seem massive, but you get the point. Where's the 886? Doesn't matter. I've moved it since then. Yeah, so up to that 113. If we do go up towards that area, great, fantastic. Then we can start trending again, and I'm looking for that. Obviously, we could have inflection, whatever else, and we could and all and organic higher lows, higher lower highs, all that shite. But at the minute, as it stands, this is negative. It's pushed down. It's come back up so far to here and failed to go any higher. That's clearly then again another 618 sort of failure against this low to that high to that low to that high. So this could, if this actually fails to take out the price point of $30.80, if we don't actually hit $31 at some point in the next, I don't know, 2 days, then it's probably because we're on our way down towards 25. That's probably why we've not done it at that point. So there's that. Right, cool, excellent. That would be my main thing with Chainlink. I feel like this is okay. It's okay. It's okay that it's done all of this. It's okay that it's done all this. That's crazy to say, but it is. It's okay that it's done all this. Let me just kind of see if I can make that kind of more visible to people, and hide off the drawings. It's okay that it's done this here. It's not fantastic, but in at these highs, that was a double top just there, and that would have been bearish divergent. Where's the 2-day time frame? 25.90 shite, isn't it shite? Shit. Well, I think that all sounds fairly clear there, right? Because you'd be wanting to take profit at that flash because we could so easily be going to 25. So easily could be. And the way that this would work would be along the lines of everybody thinking that the world was fine again, and then it's not fine again. And why is it not fine again? Because this was always going to have to happen. And why? Because people who've got the money know and want it to, and that's just how just have to live with it. So yeah, so that's good to have seen that. It's good to have actually seen that there at $25. Jeepers creepers. Right. So anyway, I've laid it out and I've discovered the flash afterwards. Right. Do I think it'll go to $25 at some point in its lifetime? It's hard to say. This is a relatively new indicator, and I'm not really sure exactly what time frames exactly I'd be looking at for all these different things to be happening on. Things certainly happen. So I'm not 100% sure exactly to guarantee this or anything like that. We're obviously developing all these sorts of ideas together. That's $25. I mean, if I had dry powder and I was looking to buy more Chainlink or something like that, then I would probably wait at this stage for $25. If I wanted to, if I was just looking to invest and hold. If I was looking to, then again, that's my attitude, isn't it? If I was somebody out there who's the typical person looking to invest and hold, I'd buy it now, not caring that it was dropping to 25, with the overall expectation it would go up forever and not really care. So there would be that. But if I was doing it, then I'd operate slightly differently. And then, yeah, what else is there to talk about on that front? That's where we are on it, right? It could obviously go either way, right? But we've acknowledged that this is okay. Prices up, move up 50 cents, gives you the opportunity to buy to run up towards 30. I've explained it all. Sorry, I'm. It's harder for me to reiterate what I've explained than for it is for you to skip back 5 minutes and watch that video again. Rocky Outcrop stops teaching people and just look at stickers and some are moving lots. All right, yeah, cool. Which ones, Jimmy? I'll see if there's anything that people have asked for. I'll stop teaching people. It's enough. It's enough. Yeah, it's enough teaching. This is what happens, right? This is how I mean. It's like self-care. Eh? I forget. Not that anybody out there's done anything wrong. It's just that it takes energy to do these things, and I care. So because I care so much, and it takes the energy, I really got to kind of like think in that. It's very hard for me to care more about myself than it is to care about anybody else. It's not my motivation. Do 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 bam 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 bam. Yeah, did I have other things in here? I know this is a lot. Wait, hold on a second. Amber, Link, we did that. Take a look at Hexo. We'll take a look at Hexo, but I'll not go into massive amounts of detail on it. Sorry, buddy. Space Monkey, thank you so much. Hi, Rocky. I wanted you to know that since learning from you and Jamie, I'm making money off my trades. I trade small right now, but I have winners now, even in crypto. Smiley faces. Fantastic, Space Monkey. I'm dead happy. Dead happy for you. That's really fantastic. And I know that you're developing a lot as a trader from looking at your homework that you did a month ago. I'm sure even if you look back at your own homework now, you'll think to yourself, "Oh, I could do a better job," and that's fantastic. And if you don't feel like that, that's okay. That's okay. That's quality. Brave DeLorean Buck 690. I know this isn't a lot of dough compared to what you deserve, but I wanted to say thank you and tell you something you explained yesterday about reading trends on DI plus and minus clicked for me. Thanks for teaching. You're empowering people to keep learning. That's quality. That's great. Fantastic. Wonder if that happened during that education private stream on the Discord or what. Rocky, you're doing great, but you can pour from an empty cup. Take care of you. By the way, people, thank you so much for putting Rocky Outcrop in there. I've got this chat thing, as you can see. Right, this is how I read my chat nowadays, and it's very, it's great and everything, but it's so annoying. They don't highlight my name. They don't highlight my name. I want them to highlight my name. So I do miss some, and it's not. And when people see that, it's definitely not because I'm ignoring you, And I've got the chat there. It's like it's quite big, and I'm trying to read it. Um. So yes, the world needs more calling. Oh, but I did look here. There was somebody asked for Hexo. That was right. Let's go take a look at Hexo and see if it's doing all right. There's a phrase we used about this one. Do you remember what it was? It is what it is until it is what it isn't. What is it? Certainly isn't. Certainly isn't what it was. That's for sure. Seems to still be what it was. It is what it is until it is what it isn't. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. I really hate that song, man. Why have I got it stuck in my head? Is what it is till it is what it isn't. Is it is, but it is what it isn't. Yep. So it keeps on. It's the love that keeps on giving. Mm. Ooh, that's the 2-day time frame, by the way. Here's the 24-hour time frame, and what do you notice is that there has been lows in here. Obviously, this was last week. This is when we were talking about it. They're at 1, 2, 3. Perfect number. Perfect number. Was it actually the low though? It didn't get quite as low as that, but 1, 2, 3. That's where I would have had my order in at. You all know it. 1, 2, 3. Great. I love buying things at 1, 2, 3. So I prefer buying things at 2 for 1. Well, I mean that's if they make it up to 482. Then I like buying things at 2 for 1, definitely. But yeah, right. In terms of this hidden bearish divergence that we're seeing on Hexo at this high here is not filling me with joy. Not filling me with joy, but we've seen a pullback that's come in since. 50% pullback from the lows to the high that we've just had in here. Actually come all the way down as low as the 618 golden pocket right there on that low. If you're looking to trade this towards the long side right now, you absolutely could. But this would be in the sense of trying to catch a knife, and it'd be a kind of crazy. It's like there isn't anything jumping out here to say that you really should do that at all. The best thing that you've got going for you on this chart is the extreme amounts of bearish divergence there's been here over a long time. But let's bear in mind that this has been the case since August that you've experienced bearish divergence. So like really the best thing about this chart is that it's now November, like mid-November. That's the best thing about this chart is it's mid-November, and we've had this bullish divergence for such a long time. That's the best thing about this chart. Yeah. Have we got a change in conditions on a small time frame? Not quite. Sucks balls that high. That high there sucked balls. And you know what category that sucking balls high came from? Came from a quite simple category of things in life, which is it is what it is until it is what it isn't. And what it isn't right now, I can tell you, is in an uptrend. What else have we got? How did BBBY get on since earlier on? BBBY, 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 BBBY. Pre-market pumps are people shitting on your face. When are you gonna fucking realize it? How else did other things go? Actually, screw that one. How did BBY get on? How's BBY getting on? Where is this? NYSE. Best Buy. Oh, this is Best Buy, is it? People like Best Buy. I like Best Buy. I like Best Buy. Hey, I like Best Buy. Why not? Fuck it. Let's like it. 236. There's an opportunity there in a sense. Oh, earnings coming soon. I wonder what these will be like. 23rd of November. Oof, earnings just before Black Friday. It's Christmas earnings. Must be some good laugh coming up. Where's it often to do them as it happens? Great, cool. Yeah, it's the sort of March, April earnings are going to be great. April, yeah. January. Oh, we might get some in January as well, of course. Yeah. Well, whatever. There's like it spreads it out. So yes, and this is what we talked about earlier on above that 236 and all the rest of it. Plenty of areas as well along the way. Interesting. But is it going to keep going? This is a very much. Oh, yes. Does need to have some form of correction. We could push a little bit higher during this phase, but I suspect we will have some sort of correction soon. In which case, where would I want to buy into this one at? Wait a minute, is this as simple enough to say that I'd want to get in somewhere towards 115? Where are we at the minute? 133. Could I drop a 15 bucks off this thing and feel happy about it? Probably could overall, but that's a bit. Yeah. Buying it below 120 is better than buying it here where it is now. Where's this inflection coming in? It happened once and twice. Yes, that's where we're going to buy it at. $120, $121 would be better on that one. Let's just kind of look over here at Neg. Newegg. Newegg. All the eggs are new. They're not old anymore. They're new. Black Friday coming up. This one's going to be happy for a while. Big growth company for a number of years. Really run quite well privately, and all that sort of stuff. Actually, quite good. I had this impression that GameStop wouldn't want to merge with Newegg because Newegg's been around for quite a while doing the e-commerce, or not, well, all that, and GameStop might prefer a different way to do it. And it would have been better had they wanted to do some, had they wanted to buy some of it even, or any of that. It would have been better to have done it back when we were kind of talking about these possibilities. Is this Newegg? Yeah, this is Newegg. Some of these sorts of possibilities back then when it was much cheaper than it is now, that's for sure. But of course, yeah, well, over here would have been the time sort of May, etc. Anyway, this has been going well, and this big movements that we've had here, no real shock. That's the wrong way. Or not the wrong way, but the wrong one. Not the wrong one, but it's just not working. That's fine. And so far, then we've come back up above that. Yep, great, excellent, consolidated above this here. Then it's absolutely excellent. We can get a rise up from that. And we can look easily towards these other targets again up above. Yeah, great, excellent. Looking for this, looking for the positivity to continue on Newegg, having had such a massive downward trend for such a long time, and we've had a big deal of pain trying to turn this thing around, and then this is and then throughout this entire year since the high that we got in July 21, not this entire year, this entire couple of months here, and we've seen this sinking all the way down. There was a worry for us in the charts that this could have turned into some sort of like Bitcoin scenario where you're looking at, this is very badly done, but you're looking at some sort of like wedge type thing, not wedge, triangle thing, and instead it's gone up above that. Is there a trend line on this that's worth going in and saying there'd be a retest of? Well, I certainly hope not. I'd be looking for that wick that came in there. I think maybe mentioned this if I did at the time. Certainly would have mentioned it in my own head to myself. I think that happened. Pretty sure I talked about this at the time. Pretty damn sure I talked about this at the time. Is that being the retest? So I'm glad that happened and it's over with. The retest of what, you say, Rocky? Well, the retest of the breakout of this wedge that we had here. The move then off the back of that wedge, well, where would that take you to? And you're not going to be shocked. You're really not. It would take you to, well, more or less where we've been to so far. So that's good to see that's what's going on, and this is correct. Now at this point here, we're going to need to be aware of our. I'm doing too much education right now. I'm definitely doing too good a job. In fact, screw it. I've already done a good enough job. I mean, I could be much more detailed and much more advanced on that one, but screw that. Nobody even asked for it anyway. D, you only did it for the spanking, so no rewarding that type of behavior. Oh, what happened? Spank me, Papa. I sold some GME and bought some BBBY. I am not a shilly shill. What a shilly shill you are, you big shilly shill face. Great, nice one. What else have we got here in the world of? Does anybody want to look at anything else? D Harker. I'm not going to read your stuff out there because imagine me reading that. That'd be very clippable. Merrick Sanders, pianist. It's funny that I seen what Rocky has standards about what he says. Yeah, shock horror. What? Yeah, great, excellent. So, what else is moving? Tell you what, let's instead of looking over there, let's find it on the. I hate NordVPN, by the way. Go away. Right. Let's just see what's going on right now. If we can get some, we can figure out now. We obviously what we want to do it on is change the settings here to 15 minutes. And then let's see what's got the biggest volume in 15 minutes. It's 4 o'clock now. I'm tuning out soon, but what's the biggest volume? Prague. Prague still the volume today. Still got the volume today. Let's see then. How much is it happening for people? Oh, great. Excellent. Excellent. Nice moves today for it still. Yep. But I mean, obviously, the volume that's happened today, as you can see with this 4 hour candle, has been everyone shitting on your face because you got excited about something like a complete amateur. Haha. That's what happened. Let's admit it to ourselves so we can move on. Then there was this one. What's this? AVPT, AviPoint Inc. Oh, ooh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Do 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 do. Yeah, bounced off of that. Then where did it go to? Oh my God! Look at that. Look at that. Woo! Oh my goodness, this is something that was not requested, which I did myself for the crack uh, yesterday, a few days ago, and educated people on. People have been wondering why I did that. Wow, that turns out to be freaking amazing work. Well done, Rocky. Yeah, again. Okay, let's check out listed LCID. Are you starting to understand, by the way, where a lot of these where a lot of people where a lot of interest comes in for these shares, like Naked here and Sundial and LCID and Prog, and you're thinking to yourself, how is it these people are able to find out these things? Well, they're just following the markets, bud. It's not that hard. Do 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 do. Here's LCID pushed outside of that. Back in the retest of it. If this thing shits its pants, then you know what's happening. A parallel a failed wedge, as in if this is a bearish wedge and it's failed by moving outside of it, becomes what? Becomes a parallel channel. We've got a parallel channel on there. A failed wedge becomes a parallel channel. Rocky, what? Did you just invent that phrase? No, I've been saying that on this show for over a year and a half. This is the area where you'd expect then at this point to see a turnaround. Why? Well, two reasons. One is simply that you'd be looking to kind of come in for a retest of that wedge at the very least, if that was what if that wants to prove itself in that way. But also because well, I guess there's probably tons of reasons. I bet you that's the 1618. Oh, look at that. That's the 1618 Fibonacci retracement point. Fuck me. Do all roads actually lead to Rome? Is technical analysis actually like that? Well, shit, friends, it is. And there you have it. Right, great, excellent, sweet. So, I mean, well, anyway, who cares about that one? I don't. I'm not trading it. I mean, I can't be motivated to look at that any longer than I have done already. Already did too good. Here's Riven. There's that APO thing. Ignore the flash in the background. This is a brand new stock. There you go. Actually, screw it. There's no point in doing TA on this one. If you want to, though, like there's one thing that you can see quite clearly is that we're below the 2-3. That actually we're that everybody in the world that's looking at this is looking at it in one way. Shock horror that they are. What are they doing to look at this thing? Well, I'll tell you what they're doing. They've done this, which you'll notice that nobody in the world that does TA will tell you is how things work. But there you go. They've done that, right? They've done that. Then they've not told you that they've done that. Then what they've done is they've done this. They've done this, right? They've done this. They've done this. They've drawn on a Fibonacci retracement tool, right? That's what they've done, right? And then what they've done here is they've seen that this is where this is where the 236 is, and then they've traded towards it. And you know what? That's what they all did. And did you do that? Because if you did do that, then well done. You did what everybody else did. And if you didn't do that, then you've maybe suffered. What else is there? I mean, I'm looking at these just to try and find out ones that you guys have asked for. Here's one that I've traded myself, Southwestern Energy Company. Southwestern Energy. I don't know the first thing about this company, but I traded it. Yes, I very much did. And I had good fun. Yes, who knows? What is the Southwestern anyway? I like the Southwestern Energy Company because I like Chipotle sauce. Is that good enough fundamentals for you? It's how I do mine. Chipotle's pretty good. It's hot. They're an energy company. Energy likes heat. So yeah, wow, we could almost undo this here. We could almost undo this and invalidate it, but we've not quite done it yet. Crazy. It's crazy that yet again you can see that this is right in there at that point, because what we've done is that thing in there, that one, and of course that's how that works, and that's how, of course, when you think about it, if you think about it, like what is it that leads price? Well, price leads price, and what is it? How do people think in terms of like people who actually think? How do the people who actually think, and if you don't, not just people but computers, like computers have to think, because that's all that computers do, is that they were made to think. Computers aren't organic animals like us. We can actually get through a whole day without actually thinking if we want to, whereas computers, if they did that, that would be called being off. When computers are on, they're on by definition. It means they're thinking, which not all of us are doing. And how do they think? Well, they think in terms of percentages. Is that a shock? I don't think it's a shock. I think we all knew that already. I think we've all known that our entire lives. Rock Aircrop saw GGPI flash by there. I'm long from 977 to profit on a quarter of the position. What would be a good way to figure out the next target on what's that? What's that? GGPI. Oof. Shit. um, where's the button? There's the button. Take this off logarithmic just so you can see. This is a chart which it doesn't look that different, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, not that different. Anyway, bloop, 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 shit, man. Like, how would you figure out the next target? Uh, you would like to be able to rely on trend. You would like to be able to rely on trend of some sort. You can't here. Because we've gone way beyond it. Pardon me. Over the last few days, the next target has been somewhere between 1449 and 1640, because this is the range. We're doing okay. We're pushing it at the minute. I wouldn't expect to see. Yeah, I mean, if I jump down towards the 1 hour time frame or whatever in at this point just here, what do we see? Yeah, it's just not going to be. It's just not going to have that momentum with it, is it? This happening with the gap up here. How do we find out our next target? There could be tons of ways of doing it, but this chart's shite for it. You can't do stuff like look at put the whole thing in a parallel channel, for example. That's a good technique for that sort of thing. Like I can just show you. Here's a weekly time frame on Chainlink, and we had loads of big moves up here, and you could go, oh, look at that, like, and you stick the whole thing inside a parallel channel, and this works perfectly well. $25 is probably at the bottom of where the parallel channel is right now if I just draw on a parallel channel, but I'm not going to, because it's going to make all the drawings come back on. It's a mess anyway. But you can't do any of that over there on GGPI or whatever it was called. So yeah, it's like it's not got much of that sort of thing on the go. It's got very low things. So like, but we know that this is most likely going to be it's still Fibonacci extension numbers. Like we can still do that. So just take that away here and show you that between the major high and the major low, which is here, where's the 4.414? Have we come in there yet? Boom. Let me just then draw this and take the thingy to here and show you that, realistically, probably the next target on this one is actually $11. Okay. That's how you would do it most likely. Things tend not to go beyond the 4.414. Okay, this is more or less the end of the road. Things can go, but then these are the exceptions. If this goes much beyond that, it's an exception. Now, could it keep going? Yeah, very strong. Yep. Does anybody know? Nope. Statistically, likelihood wise, it's probably more likely to hit $11 than it is to hit 30 in the next, or 25 in the next wee while, but whatever. Managing this along whatever sort of basis that you want to do it on is probably wise. So if I take this off of a logarithmic, by the way, shoves it a little bit closer to the price action. So maybe you want to think about things around 1478 as being like where you would take profit on shorts initially, and then to but and then carry the rest of it through down the way, or indeed where you would manage risk on longs. Maybe you're thinking 1445, whatever. I don't know, but that's that one. Anyway, you tricked me into doing education again, and also you tricked me into doing not only education but some of the most insightful education that you can get, because that 4.414 thing is really interesting. Rocky got through to final for Castaway show, then didn't want to go to London for the final. I was going to be on Castaway. Do you know the TV show Castaway? Uh, Castaway. Is this Americans have got one now too? Americans have got one. You can tell that they're Americans have got one because look at her face, and that, and look at the faces. Whereas you can see here is like that's not Castaway, but that's not what it's like. But that's maybe what Americans would think the UK version of Castaway would look like, because I mean, let's face it, that's what our islands are like. No, Castaway. Castaway, is that what it was called? Was that what it was called? I'm trying to think. I'm thinking it was called Castaway now. But where is that TV show though? The UK. I was going to be on it. Where is it? There we go. That's more like it. That's more like it. This sort of shit. I was going to be on that sort of a show. Where is it though? Is it actually called? Was it not called Castaway now? Have I renamed it in my head? Mental. Anyway, shipwrecked, 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 shipwrecked. I was going to be on this show. In fact, is that the year? No, that's too recent. I was going to be on that. That was too recent. I was going to be on this show. This is what show I was going to be on. As you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, this is obviously the show for me. Obviously, I had big plans for it, but yeah, you know, didn't happen in the end. No big deal. Not really that bothered, but you know, shipwrecked. That was it. You fooled me for a second, Tradespotting, with your Castaway chat. Basically, like Survivors, except far sexier. Rocky Aircrop, you mentioned the Welsh word. There's an English equivalent. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes, there is. And as a Tool fan, it's the sort of thing that I should know, like these sorts of words, right? Animoma, and then nostalgia for a time. And I suppose, like, there you go. Anemoia from Greek, but it's also from the Greek. We've got a bastard language here anyway. The Welsh language is far more original than our language, as English is. I agree with your definition. What? Shut up. Brilliant. Sorry, I just wanted to be an ass there for fun. It's what Reddit's for. Excuse me. Family Guy's take on Tom Hanks' Castaway is really funny. Wilson, can still happen. Yeah, man. Can still happen. Okay, yeah, it still could. Better get this. Need to do some more of this though first, hey. Shipwrecked. Put me on your show again. Ow, fuck. Takes a bit of practice. Right, cool. I'm going to tune out in a minute here, right? So if there's anything I'm missing, let me know. Channel 4 can help me with Tadpole games for a season. All you need to do is provide a prize worth 50 grand for every round. I'll do it for free. Nice. That would be cool. I think you'd get a lot of the UK audience tuning in for that one. Sipping on piss. Oh, good to see you sipping on piss. Not seen you in a wee while. Hope you're doing all right. And that'll probably be entirely my own fault because of my lack of ability to read the chat properly. Right, yeah, that's well generous. By GME says Sally Mander talking to Shane DeBush. We've got D Harker putting in lots of good chat in there. There should be a Love Island for seniors. Yes. Tasty Scottish seniors. Geriatric Love Island. Sky, there has to be a plugin for highlighting your name in chat. There gosh darn should damn well be a plugin for that. Thanks, Sky. Good shout out. I'll try and take a look at that. Evergrande. Oh yeah, Evergrande. Do 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 do. Not the time interval. I really hate that song, by the way. Evergrande. China Evergrande. What? You telling me that this thing actually works? Oh my god. Wait, you mean that the Chinese government changed the rules and put it in and then made this happen and blah blah blah. And nobody out there in the world thought and this is this and this doesn't blah 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 or some other words along those lines. Yeah, cool. Anyway, that indicator works, by the way. It does goddamn work, right? It does. Do 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 do. So, how are we getting on here with Evergrande? Yeah, little doji here. I did say to people, look, I said to people recently, if you're looking to get into this thing, then look down towards do, 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 down towards 255. I don't know where 250. I don't know where my flash is coming in on 255. I mean, there's various reasons to look to 255. I never justify something purely off of a flash. Although there was one IPGP, IPG Photonics Corporation, where I'm aiming effectively aiming towards here. Although I did take profit on my own trade. I am aiming up for that flash, by the way. That it's not visible on the charts right now, but there was a flash there. Unless there was a flash there, and I am aiming up towards that. But here is the next target, 159.2. That'll be the best buy on this one of the year, quite possibly. Yeah, that's probably. I mean, obviously these targets here are great and everything and whatever, but you know, the getting in at these targets for me felt like a case of really kind of getting in, here, waiting, seeing how it went, getting in here, not really great or anything either, and then getting in here. So for me, the 3 trades that I took, they were from there. I took profit on them all. Where you'll never guess at the 236. I'm still aiming up for that thing, but I traded that purely. I mean, I got into this thing and I was like, I'm just going to get into this based purely off the flash. Do I still have some? Still got one trade open. I think it's the worst one. I just left it open. I actually don't know where. I mean, these things are. I actually don't know where I got into it at because I can't remember absolutely everything. He would be peaches probably. Ooh, I wonder. Fudge making games. We only got some. Are we doing that anymore? Points maybe. I feel like tadpole gangs are like Harry Potter houses. EGRNY. Yeah, exactly. EGRNY. There you have it. There's Evergrande OTC in the US trading away right now. But Americans out there not willing to like take any punts on things. All you're really going to see is this catching up with the thingy. When people say what's leading what, then OTC stocks trading in America tend to typically follow along with the real stocks elsewhere. So you can do your TA on them, absolutely can. There are differentials here. You can see Ricey RR over there. Then is the better one where you're actually getting the detail at. You can see that actually happening. Nice little bull flaggy type ideas over here. We are hoping for things to push up the way. They've obviously retraced a wee bit, but this is trending fairly well at the minute, and it's all happening in around about this neckline territory. So there's going to be a lot of inflection and a lot of kind of thoughts and hard thoughts about this sort of thing, and then then we'll see the prices move up, and then afterwards people will justify it years later with some sort of justification, some sort of bollocks they make up after the fact. Like they'll say, "Oh, look, they got this contract or whatever, and that's what made it happen." But we all know about this in advance. I haven't seen any Harry Potter. Rocky has the final first edition. Yeah, it got stolen, Jimmy. Though remember. And then there was the. So I have a first edition book in that, but I had a first edition book that then got stolen as well by Airbnb people. And then there was I've read the books. I saw some of the movies, but I really hate the movies. I really hate everybody in them. I really hate every single actor and actress in it. I kind of feel like maybe the ginger guy, whatever he's called again, basically Sam to Frodo in Lord of the Rings, whatever you call the ginger one, Weasley, Ron Weasley. I felt like that as an actor and as a human being, what with him being so challenged with his ginger hair, that he was an interesting one or something like that. And I'm kind of glad that he isn't as famous as the other ones and done as well in a way, because it makes him more of a real person. Because Harry Potter and Hermione, what do you call those two actors, are so incredibly bad. They're not substantially good enough looking or friendly enough or nice enough people or you know, anything particularly about them that's great. Although I would say that Harry Potter's done all right in the sense that he made friends with the actor that played Don Draper, and then they did some things together in a way. And that's the biggest thing that I like about him, is that the guy that played Don Draper thought it was worth spending any time in the same room as him. But that's my feelings on that. Also, by the way, J.K. Rowling, if you're watching, which you never are, but J.K. Rowling, you're a right arsehole, by the way. And I'll never forget how you tried to skip me at the bar. Have I told you all of this before as well? I probably have, but I've met J.K. Rowling, and she's she's an arsehole. She's she's arrogant, and she skipped me at a bar, and do you know what she did? She said, she gave me the whole, "Do you know who I am?" Yeah, she gave me that whenever I complained at her for skipping me at the bar. Do you know what I did? I says, I don't give a shit what books you've written. It doesn't entitle you to be an arsehole. Yeah, that's what I says to J.K. Rowling. That's my interaction with J.K. Rowling. Yeah, great. Anyway, so I hate J.K. Rowling, and I hate how she donated to the Better Together campaign against independence for Scotland. I hate how she has no gays or Asians or Scottish people even in her books. That she's so clearly racist, she's so clearly bigoted, she's so clearly homophobic, and she so clearly is an absolute get out of town fuckface. All of those things. But yeah, you know. So that's my opinion on it. Anyway, I read the books, by the way. Rowling also stole the premise for Harry Potter series from the Worst Witch author, basically. Oh yeah, you're right. The Worst Witch. Who was the Worst Witch anyway? The Worst Witch. It was the same thing. Same thing. She stole it. She stole it all. Good for you. She's an arsehole. Good for you, Rocky Crop. I'd tell her that to her face right now. I'd tell her that every day of the week. Lol, Rocky putting Rowling in her place. Beast mode. Yeah. And the guy behind the bar, who did he serve? Me. And he was like, fair play, mate. You're right. You're not wrong. You don't act like that in Scotland. Tell you what, a couple of little rules for people, not rules, but little kind of tidbits of information, cultural nuance differences for English people coming to Scotland, or indeed even as well for a lot of people from Northern Ireland and Wales as well, is that in Scotland, you don't hang around at the bar drinking your drinks, right? That just doesn't happen really pretty much anywhere. Like in, in Americans, English bars, all the rest of it, it's quite commonplace to sit at the bar itself drinking your drink. Whereas in Scotland, we recognize that as being wrong, because you go to the bar to order your drink, and then the barman puts your drink down on the bar, and then you have to carry it and walk away. And everyone in Scotland thinks that people who sit at the bars and order drinks are arseholes, unless you're in an out-and-out alcoholic bar and everybody in there at the bar is drinking themselves to death, in which case we treat it like any other hospice. And then, so there's that. I think that's going to serve a lot of people well who come to this country. They need to know that one. What else is there about things? Oh yeah, you if you're called J.K. Rowling, it doesn't entitle you to anything, and you can't skip people at the bars. Those two things, they're interesting bits of things. She's a wasp. She absolutely is. J.K. Rowling, Kathy Wood, and Ken Griffin walk into a bar. I totally will. Frick, gosh, good one. If you understand that jumping the queue in the bar in Scotland is punishable with execution by claymore, absolutely is. Absolutely is. It absolutely is. There's a vague thing though. There's two queues in bars in Scotland, and this is a nuanced thing that not a lot of people know. There's the queue of people who maybe will never achieve anything in life queue, right? There is that queue, right? It's commonly accepted in Scotland that there's two queues at bars. The queue of people who will never ever achieve anything in life at all. And then there's the queue of people who are actually in the queue. And if you skip somebody who's actually in the queue, then that's not good. Whereas if you skip past the 3 or 4 humming and hawing people at the back there who don't know what they're doing and stuff, and they haven't figured out anything, probably because they're English and they're in holiday in Scotland and they don't really know what's going on, that's fine. Skip them, that's fine. But skip somebody who knows what they're doing. You can't do that. Right, anyway. The Ghost of Jiu-Jitsu guy, 30th November was also the National Day of Scotland. Also the National Day of Scotland. Yes, it is. Yes, it bloomin' well is. St. Andrew's Day. St. Andrew's Day explained a little. Nah, skip that one. First time in St. Andrews? Nah. St. Andrew's Day. Guy playing bagpipes 11 months ago? Yeah, this is the sort of thing that I wanted. 224 views. Poor guy. Look at that. Look, mate. Good one. You've got a good thumbnail. I think that's a good thumbnail. It says a lot. And the videos above you, thousands, millions, and you've only got 224. I'm going to play your video, mate.
From a cold and misty Edinburgh, happy St. Andrew's Day.
Cheers, mate.
St. Andrew's Day on the 30th of November is the National Day of Scotland, but it's not just an important day on the Scottish calendar. St. Andrew, one of the 12 apostles, is also the patron saint of a few other countries, like Barbados, Colombia, Greece, Romania, and Russia, to name a few.
This is a YouTube video.
It's also a bit of a double whammy for Barbados, because the 30th of November marks their Independence Day.
Ah.
To give you
It'll mark our Independence Day one day, tell you what, it will, probably.
a bit of context, it's generally agreed that St. Andrew died on the 30th November, which is why this date is honoured every...
Right, look, I want to play this, but I'm also very much aware of how I'm actually going to tune out now as well. So great stuff. Let me just see if he actually starts playing more back. There we go. He's up at our folly. Great. Good on you, mate. Nice one. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Tradespotting, Dyran, Brady Pearl, Gank L. Good to see you, Gank. Love Scotland for how they treated their dogs. Really interesting. Chris Sweeney, Brady, Sky, OL. You've got your Space Monkeys, your Ghost of Wolfbrook Doomslayers, your Merrick Sanders. You've got your Miggle Figgle Tiggles, your SKs, your Ambers, Observe Thyself, D Harker, he's a shilly shill shill. Hey, you've got Salamander, and you've got wonderful people out there, and I really do appreciate it. CC, thanks so much as well. Nathan, thank you so much as well. Duo and all y'all. Then you've got these guys here, and I've missed a couple, which I really apologize for. The Spice Isle. Look at that beach. Scotland has got the Caribbean nation is more than beaches. Wow, that's some nice beach though. Well done, Ross, mate. That's good on you. Good on you for being Scottish and all that good stuff and celebrating Scotland. Vote for independence, mate. Obviously, you're going to. Obviously, because you're a human being. It's only complete dickheads that don't vote for independence in Scotland. By the way, let it be known. It's official. It's how I officially think about things. I'm not going to talk about politics very often, but I'm happy enough to lose whatever unionist Scottish people that tune in that don't like the sound of me saying that. Fuck off. Right, it's not going to affect my YouTube performance that much. So yeah, where's this thing though? Here it has. Stephen K. Thank you so much. I've been trading I've been trading on a paper account until just recently. Entered into naked, put in a stop loss after it moved up 14%, but got stopped out using parabolic SAR. But still profitable. Thanks for teaching me how to become a trader. And here's to keeping my promise. Cheers, Stephen. Man, that's really Stephen. Stephen, you've been generous anyway. You've been a generous guy. You are a generous guy. Really do appreciate it. I mean, Stephen, for instance, I remember you donating $150 to FU Money on his channel and that just out of being a really nice guy and because you were recognizing how he was doing good work and putting out value into the world there. And that's really appreciated. And thanks so much for all that. So cheers, buddy. Brave DeLorean, that was the last one. Excellent. So I've done them all now. So thanks so much, Stephen. Thanks so much, Brave DeLorean, Space Monkey, Cruz, Michael. Thanks so much. Can you take a peek at Hexel? We did that earlier on. Amber, thank you so much. We took a peek at Link as well. Thank you so much, Worth, for saying that I deserve more. That's really appreciated. Ghost of Dan, your support is always appreciated. Thanks so much, Dan. Hope you're getting on very well out there in El Worldo. Merrick Sanders, thanks so much for the 1069 super chat. Very generous of you. Literally in this case, that was you agreeing with me. I very much appreciate that. Anti-Fanatic, thanks so much for the super chat as well. That was good. And yeah, you're still in the beginning and your portfolio is tiny, but of course it's all about the percentages like we were saying earlier on. Try and see if you can get that nice consistent growth in that sense. Sally Mander spent $20 US, but it was actually $25 Canadian. I don't know why it's translated that. Maybe, I don't know. I don't get it. Whatever. Thank you so much. And we answered that question from the Discord, and that's pretty good. And then Reese Williams, hi, Rocky. That's cool. Just no ask from him. It was just dropping me a $5 because he's a nice guy. Thanks so much for that. Really appreciate it. Anonymous, thanks for that there. Talking about Turkey and versus Turkey versus USD. If it really was Turkey versus USA, then I tell you what, I'd support USA every day of the week. Merrick Sanders, Myers sent 1069 super chat as well when he first asked the question, and that's really appreciated. Thanks, by the way, to the people who are members of the channel, have been for quite a while, the likes of Julian, Master Bilbo, Odd Time Wizard, Pam the Trader, Paul B, Bav Dav, Kala Kala, The Shadow of a Lepton, Corey, Bing Bong, Brady Pearl, all the good stuff, all these people and all the rest of it. Thanks so much to all the people who are Patreons as well. SAJW, Dennis Hagstrom, all became Patreons recently. Mr. Kevin Reed as well, Justin Gann, and James Jacob, all of you as well. Very, very, very much appreciated. Jeffrey Camplin and Christopher Doyle as well. Thank you to all of you. I really do appreciate all of you all. Thank you so much. SLP, we'll check him out. Good shout. R says somebody, Scotland should have a warrior king. It should indeed. By the way, here, actually, before I tune out, you know, we've got this movie here in Scotland. You should watch it. It's on Netflix, Outlaw King. I don't want to play the trailer or get copyright striked or any of that sort of jazz. Look, that's it. Outlaw King, official trailer, Netflix. Go watch that. Freaking good movie. That guy's Australian. He doesn't do too badly with a Scottish accent. And in terms of attitude-wise, he does well. Interestingly, though, that actor there who plays Robert the Bruce in this movie as the Outlaw King is significantly shorter than Robert the Bruce was back in the day. If you actually were to go and look at Robert the Bruce cast head in Dunfermline church castle, is it church or castle? I think it's a church actually. The reconstructed face of Robert the Bruce revealed. Whoa, this is interesting. To 2016, what did he actually look like? He looked like that dude. Ooh, to be honest, that I don't like the way they did that. There was an English person that did this quite clearly, because that's an English looking face. That's bad. That's bad. That's wrong. That's inaccurate. Guaranteed inaccurate. That guy looked English. Guaranteed not right. That was English. That was English. That was wrong. That was wrong. I was wrong. I'm offended. I can't believe I just saw that. I'm offended. There's his skull, right? Now, you don't get any sort of sense of perspective in this thing, but that skull is sat inside a church, right, in Dunfermline, right? And you can go up and look at it. Now, the thing, you can tell by looking at it, the guy was huge. Robert the Bruce, height. So Robert the Bruce, hopefully he's got his height in here in this thing. Let's just see, HEIGHT. At this height, he would have stood almost as tall as Edward, 6 feet 2 inches. Wait a minute, come on, that's not true. That's not true. He was taller than 6 foot 2 inches. Come on, must have been taller than 6 foot 2 inches. Must have been. There's that picture of his skull again. The plaster cast of the skull of King Robert the Bruce. Shit, maybe he was only like the same sort of height as me. But anyway, back in the day, though, I guess that's the point I was really trying to make, is that for somebody to have been around to have been born in 1329, to be 6 foot 2 in 1329. 1329. Can you see a chart of average height over decades of people? Can you see that? The average height of people over decades. So average adult height by year of birth, right? So you can go back over here and go to the last 2 millennia, and where is it? 165. Now, 6 foot 2 is 190 centimeters. 190 centimeters. And this is only going back as far as 1810. Everybody in 1810 was 30 centimeters smaller than him, right? So how far does that go? 1896. You know what I mean? It's like, this is a guy. Can we not go back millennia? No, I thought it said millennia. It said 2 millennia. The last 2 millennia. Where is it? So 1300, 172, right? This is the average height. This is human height for all this time. And Robert the Bruce was way up, off the chart, literally not on the chart. This chart here for the last 2 millennia. So that, I think that's the point I was trying to make about Robert the Bruce. This guy was impressive. So anyway, when you see the movie and you see Robert the Bruce and you're looking at this movie and you see him walking around and he's relatively similar height to the people standing next to him, that's clearly inaccurate, right? Because he'd have been that much taller than everybody around him, right? And the other thing is the claymore. He used the claymore, the Scottish sword, the claymore, right? Obviously, I would have tuned out earlier, but I'm now at this point just, this is necessary for you to find this out. Scottish sword, the claymore. Claymore is neither the Scottish variant of the late It's either the Scottish variant of the late medieval two-handed sword or the Scottish variant of the basket Hitler's sword. So we're talking about the medieval variant of the the two-handed sword. There's a claymore. This claymore would have been around about the height of the short people. So if you think about the fact that the average height of people back in 1300 would have been 150 centimeters, right? And then you think about or 170 centimeters or whatever, and that there's Robert the Bruce kicking about at 190 centimeters, and then you go like length of Robert the Bruce's. Let's see if he has his actual Robert the Bruce is Claymore. Let's see if we've got this. The length of Robert the Bruce's Claymore, dimensions 86 centimeters. 86 centimeters, right? 86 centimeters. So if you consider that people were maybe 160 centimeters tall, you're swinging a sword at somebody who's half their height coming at them, and you're that much taller than them. Anyway, so you can go ahead and you can watch Outlaw King. Just to put into context the things when you got these battles happening, like that one there happening, and these people are running at each other, it would be, you would know. I just think that there's something missing from the historically accurate, in terms of these movies and in terms of showing you what it was like to be back there, back in the day, doing that sort of horrible stuff. And what the significance of how his height is important, right? Great. Tell you one thing though, he didn't look English. And that's that. Thanks so much. Right, great. Amazing that Scottish used Claymore mine so early, says RJL. Yeah, totally. Exactly. Well, you can imagine the effect a Claymore mine would have had in that. Highly useful. Gosh, you should all go and watch that video. You should all go and watch it. You should all go and watch it all. All go and watch it all. And then vote for independence. Twice. Right, cool. Excellent. Thanks so much for everybody for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Look at her face, man. How scary is that? Like, how scary? Like, look at that. She murdered her sister for being a Catholic. You know that? She murdered her sister for being a Catholic. Look at that poor woman there. And look at that other one. And look at that. She's a Catholic. She's a Protestant. She's a Catholic. And she's a Protestant, and this one here is going to get the medieval female version of the Joker to chop off her head. And then we look back in time and we're like, yeah, look, that one, they were the right one. They were the good one. They were the good one. And then that other one, she wasn't so good. No, she was American and Scottish. She was Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. What ass. She was so bloody, that Bloody Mary. We really like her, though. Do you see how this is kind of like, if the Nazis had have won, sort of thing. So if Joker had defeated everybody and then taken over the world, and then a few hundred years went by, and then we wrote history books about them, then it would have been that. What ass! What ass! Where do you get off looking like that? Like, seriously, fucking hell. Anyway, so that is my opinion. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. I'll catch you next time. You will not be able to reconnect. You will not be able to reconnect. Your stream will stop, and